I would love to not be in fear for my safety day in and day out.
Is also life for us to live if we actually start making it a priority to protect Black trans women.
Black trans lives matter! Black trans lives matter! Black trans lives matter! Black trans lives matter!
This past summer, 6 Black transgender women were killed in a span of 9 days. Their murders are part of a horrifying pattern of hate crimes against transgender and gender nonconforming people that is growing.
Over the last few years, we've seen an increase in violence against trans and gender nonconforming folks, particularly Black trans women. The number that we have is 44 if you look at all trans and gender nonconforming people, which is much higher than any previous year. You would think during a period of time where everyone was supposed to be quarantining and staying at home, that homicides would go down, but that was not the case at all.
I'm in my house studying upstairs in my room, and I hear a ruckus outside. I look outside and I see in front of me a melee, just fighting and people clawing at each other. And some random lady comes up to me and says, who are you? Who the heck are you? And she just hauls off and hits me right in my mouth. And instinctively I hit her back and I try to close my door and I just couldn't close the door fast enough. And at that point, she tried to force her way in and she was successful in doing so. But when she came in, others came in behind her. I'm getting mobbed at this point and I'm getting jumped. And someone picks up a planter that was next to the couch that I was on as I was defending myself and hits me about my face and my head to the point where I became concussed. And at some point, I stopped feeling the pain. So I started thinking that, oh my goodness, is this adrenaline or am I dying? I can hear my goddaughter screaming, get off of her. I'm being called a trainee and, you effing man, you deserve this. My mouth was completely bloody. My nose was running profusely with blood. I had blood coming from my head. I couldn't feel my face at all. A normal person would just call the police automatically, but, everyday citizen. But because I'm transgender, because I'm Black, because I live in a no snitch type of environment, that I put myself sometimes at risk by calling 911. I called the police and exactly what I feared happened. They completely invalidated me. The scars are still there, the physical ones and the emotional, spiritual scars are still there. This whole matter really brought to light some of the untrue and harmful narratives that have been propagated by society against trans people, especially Black trans women.
We have to look at some of the failings of our criminal injustice system. There is still so much transphobia and xenophobia baked into that system, so that even when someone encounters a trans person who has been murdered or experiencing violence, they then exacerbate the violence by misgendering folks, misidentifying them, saying, oh, well, they're not who they were saying they were, or they're not who they were expressing themselves. We're in this quagmire where we both have to rely on this system that has never truly seen and respected us and our experiences.
While in Hollywood, there has been a rise in the portrayal of people who are transgender and the dangers facing them. FX's Pose showed the sobering reality of the horrific violence committed against Black transgender women.
Playing out Candy Ferocity's death was one of the hardest things I have ever done. I really put myself in a position to go through death and literally come back to life in the way that I did for Candy Ferocity and for all those other trans women who needed hope, who wanted to see themselves finally get the tens or get the light that they deserve. I needed to tell one trans woman's story that is so similar to so many marginalized Black and brown trans women, but I also get to live my story as a Black trans woman who has been through some of the same tumultuous gauntlets, navigating neighborhoods and job markets and streets. With Candy Ferocity, I thought that playing that role would stop or mitigate or slow down the violence against trans women, but it showed no signs of stopping.
In this room, you the only one that refused to see that I got something to contribute. Yes, you are. I am somebody.
Visibility, I always say, is a double-edged sword. For some folks, gives an opportunity for more compassion and understanding. And for other folks who are in the margins, it kind of makes them more vulnerable. We're now finally talking about it instead of ignoring it or being in denial of what's happening.
President Joe Biden has indicated his intent to reverse course from the Trump administration's anti-LGBTQ platform and has pledged to prioritize the Anti-Discrimination Equality Act.
My hopes for the future are that trans people will be able to express ourselves, but also that we are able to achieve our dreams and not be so limited by just trying to survive, just trying to stay alive, being worried that our lives are going to be cut short. That is a very difficult thing to live. But I also hope that the world in general continues to shift, because we're not the only ones on identity journeys or gender journeys. We're all kind of connected as threads in this larger tapestry of experience.